The way we got started, in 2004, Mary Ann and I decided that we'd produce, so to speak, at the time, a patient conference on Long Island. If you weren't fortunate enough to have contact with Dr. Richard Warner or maybe a couple of other people, it was really hard to get good information regarding the diagnosis and treatments of NETs. That was about 10 years ago. And we felt that patients could get better care if they knew for themselves what was available. So Dr. Tom Odorisio, who's here but I think getting coffee right now, came out on a November weekend and did a really fantastic presentation. And the patients walked away with the knowledge that their situation had some, there were some things that could be done. There were treatments, and that was something that wasn't really common knowledge at the time. We started to realize just how urgent it was for patients to meet the experts and hear firsthand what the experts had to say. Now it's been about 8 years and 20 conferences later, and this little slogan still rings true, and we're still here to bring the experts to the patients. Now these conferences have been held in many different locations. This one in 2007, Dr. Bill Hawks, a NET patient who was affiliated with the University of Michigan, helped us book a patient conference at the Medical Center's amphitheater. This is a picture of Mary Ann with Dr. Hawks hanging out and talking outside of the conference in 2007. And then here's the famous Thomas Odorisio here. Well, here he is here, but here he is sitting in the greenest chairs I've ever seen in an amphitheater, that's for sure. I don't know where they got that color from. Do you, Tom? Anyway, we don't often get to book a medical center's amphitheater. Here we are in Pasadena, where we did a conference out there. Dr. Odo didn't speak at this one, but there's always a familiar face or two out there. Here you can see Dr. Waltering, Dr. Anthony, and Dr. Charles Nutting out there. And that's the reason you always see familiar faces is because no matter where we are, no matter what the venue, the audience gets to hear from experts in the field of neuroendocrine tumors. The information that they share is invaluable to your treatment and care. So make sure you got your pens ready and get ready for a great event today. Well, we do have to raise some money in order to do these things. Since our beginning back in 2004, one of the hallmark events is our dinner dance, which we now call our gala. It's an annual fundraiser in November. The first one back in 2004 raised just enough money to pay for the conference the next day. So I'm sure that the Marriott wouldn't be thrilled to hear quite how tight our budget was at that time, but we did get it done. Now, we're very focused in what we're trying to achieve. We make care providers and patients aware of NETs. We help support groups provide their members with information about the disease, and we raise funds for carcinoid and for NET tumors research. We do this through a variety of activities, sharing literature and information through our website, and we have a phone line that's open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. virtually every day of the year that myself or Mary Ann answers. These are just a few of the recipients of research money over the years from us. I won't go through the whole list, but just an example. We also have a presence at ASCO and other and other medical trade shows to give NET cancer patients a voice at those types of events as well. Now, our government can help people to be aware of NET cancer as well. New York is one of a growing number of states to proclaimed carcinoid cancer awareness month or day. With a little work, I think we can have one proclaimed in every state. There's also a global awareness initiative that started last year and that'll continue in November this year, and we'll share a little more information about that later in the program. Well, by now, pretty much everybody knows the zebra story. Has anybody not heard the zebra story? Well, there's one who has not. Basically, in medical school, and you guys will have to confirm this for me, we understand that that you're taught when hearing hoofbeats, think horses, not zebras. Well, we have a bunch of zebras in the room here, so we're not thinking that's a really cool thing to say. Since it's relatively rare, we can think of ourselves as zebras. But don't let that fool you. NETs really isn't as rare as it's been thought of over the last few years. Well, I appreciate you giving me a few minutes to talk about me, and we're going to move on in a minute or two to the presentations. We're just a small part of the story. We have many friends and allies in the fight against carcinoid and other neuroendocrine tumors. I want to acknowledge NANETS, the Carcinoid Cancer Foundation, the many local support groups, other advocacy groups, the doctors, of course, commercial interest pharmaceuticals, everybody together, we can all make a difference. Now, we're going to keep working on this until there is a cure. You could help. Just keep this little quote in mind. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. So, why did we come here today? Not to hear me speak about all this stuff, but it's my conference. Anyway, a couple of things you should take away from today is looking to get a basic knowledge of what NETs are. For your own research, you should know what questions to ask your doctors and understand the importance of being involved in the decisions regarding your care, and know that there are many options of treatment available to you. Today you're going to hear from some of the best about a gallium scan, a PRRT treatment, surgical options, and many other diagnostic and treatment options. You're going to get a great high level of information, and many of you have been to these conferences in the past and have seen the advancements in treatment. That's what this is all about, is just getting this information out, and we can change the course of people's lives. So, if you should be making a list of carcinoid and NET experts, these names would most likely be on it. Many of them have been published in medical journals regarding carcinoid and other NET tumors, and they have many years of clinical research and experience. As you listen to the presentations, please write down any questions that occur to you and hand it in. There are index cards provided, and you can grab more on the registration table. And write down your questions, and we'll get them answered during the question and answer session. Every single presentation from the first to the last is jam-packed with life-changing information.